We have finished harvesting our OPV Pfumvudza plot, and today we are harvesting our hybrid Pfumvudza plot.
Yeah, as promised, our two Pfumvudza plots here have been harvested. This is the 2018-2019 season, and just to give you a bit of a background nationally, Zimbabwe's had a pretty devastating drought this year, to be honest, and obviously there's a pretty dismal harvest. The figures given out are by government is that 1.6 million hectares of maize were planted, and the expected harvest is going to be 776,000 tons. This is an average of only 485 kgs per hectare. So please bear this in mind when we go through our figures for these two plots. You'll remember that here we had a plot that was a hybrid, top of the range hybrid. It had 200 kgs of basal fertilizer and 200 kgs of nitrogen, ammonium nitrate, as well as lime applied, and we used a hybrid long season variety. On this side, if you remember, we had an OPV plot, open pollinated variety, which means the seed cost us nothing, and we didn't use any fertilizers. We just used inorganic. We made compost and we used chicken manure soup for top dressing. Both plots are designed to feed a family of 6 for a year. That's the Pfumvudza concept. Each plot followed a legume. This plot followed soybean, and the OPV plot followed sugar beans. The cost here, extrapolated out into terms of hectares, comes to $800 a hectare. Now this is half the recommended rates that an agronomist would choose, but we've cut our rates in half. Here, like I said, we didn't pay for anything. This crop had everything stacked against it. It was a short season variety, which means that it's expected to yield less. This being a long season variety, and this was following soybean, which gives us far more stover and ground cover than the sugar bean did. So this particular crop had a lot stacked against it, but they were planted on the same day. They were both given one watering by hand in mid-January when it was very dry. But apart from that, they were totally two dry land plots. Now to the yields. This hybrid here gave us a yield of 9,07 tons per hectare. The OPV gave us a yield of 7.4 tons per hectare. Not much of a difference considering the season and considering the dollars that were invested into each one. So let's now talk about return per dollar invested. There are some difficulties here because we've had a great monetary shift in our country during the season. But working back onto in a US dollar base from when we bought our inputs to the price that the farmer is going to be paid for in the nation today, we're working this all in US dollars. So the inorganic plot here cost $800 US to provide the inputs required for this plot. And we look at the price paid today of 1,400 Zimbabwe dollars, which at today's exchange rate extrapolates out to about 147 US dollars per ton that the farmer will be paid for this crop. That gives us a gross of $1,336 per hectare. That works out to be $1.60 return for every $1 invested. That's the return on this plot. So the organic plot, with a yield of 7,4 tons per hectare, the return on that is $1,088 US dollars per hectare. That's the return. And because there's no cost, other than a small amount of extra cost in terms of making compost, that means that the return per dollar invested here is huge compared to the inorganic plot. So I will leave you to make up your mind. That is the figures. You can decide for yourself which is better for you as a farmer. In the next video, we're going to show what this means nationally for a nation if this was extrapolated out over a whole country.